How's it going, everybody? It's Charlie, and welcome back to the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. It's time for your match review of Cardiff 2, Leeds 2. Leeds nicking it right at the very end to take it to a replay at Ellen Road. Not probably this week, the week after, I believe. Yeah, just not good enough again, in my opinion. A lot of negatives about that today. I do feel it was two versions of Leeds United that showed up in that game. But just before we get into the match review properly, please smash a like on the video. It really helps me out. And please subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. And share all of your thoughts and opinions and your rants in the comments section down below. So yeah, to all. Now, obviously I said in my preview that it should have been a fairly comfortable afternoon for Leeds. I did say 3-1. And I did also say that if we'd have got knocked out today, then I wouldn't have been heartbroken, which I stand by that. If Cardiff had have beaten us today, I wouldn't have been heartbroken. But what I don't agree with and what I'm not happy with is when we don't even show up and try. That first half, that first 45 minutes was horrific, shambolic, embarrassing, all of the above. We actually started the game off quite well. We'll get into the lineups actually first. So obviously Max Verber was left on the bench. We saw Darko Djebe. We saw Joffrey Gellart come in. Who else? Sam Greenwood came in as well. And then we saw Diego Llorente and Junior Firpo as well, with Joel Robles in goal. As soon as I saw that Llorente and Firpo were in the back four, I knew it was going to be a troubling afternoon for us, and that's what it turned out to be. Like I said, we started the game off fairly well. I thought Somerville and Nonto both looked sharp again. Even Aronson looked, like he was on it to a degree. Had a few half chances. I thought Darko Djebe looked really good on the ball. Looked calm and composed in possession. I thought Sam Greenwood had a bit of a off game, if I'm honest, as a whole. But then the same old defensive errors came back into play. Obviously, we saw Pascal Struijk play as a centre-back today with Diego Llorente, and I thought Pascal Struijk had his worst game of the season today. One thing I'll cut him a bit of slack on is the fact that he has played left-back all season, and it was his first outing at centre-half this season. We know that, in general, he is a better centre-back than what he is as a left-back. Today was just one of them games that it just didn't work for him. And look, the first Cardiff goal, it just doesn't see the Cardiff forward running in behind. It's a good save from Robles, and then there's a bit of messing about in box, and then it falls to the Cardiff player, and it slots it home, and it's 1-0, and you just think it's just the same old shambolic defending. I won't even call it defending. It's just an absolute joke, in all honesty. Diego Llorente giving the ball away time and time again. Just sticking his leg out at players, not really going into challenges. Junior Firpo, to be fair to Firpo, I don't actually think he did anything that bad. It was just the fact that every time he touched the ball in the first half, he just didn't want it. You could tell he didn't want it. He didn't want to touch the ball. It was always a pass back or the safe option. He didn't want the ball. He wasn't attacking on that left-hand side. It was just not a good performance in the first half from Leeds, especially once Cardiff took the lead. And then the second goal, again, way too easy for Cardiff to just lift it over Llorente, and the forward puts it in. And at that point I thought, right, that's game over now. I thought, we are not coming back from this. We're not winning the game at all. I did feel like some of the selections for the starting 11 were a bit, the way I kind of see it is in a cup game is that you should field a strong team, and then if you go maybe 2 or 3 goals up, or if you're comfortable in the game, then bring the young lads on. then bring players that need minutes on. And that just showed in second half, didn't it? Because I thought second half, we came out and we were a totally different team. We dominated that second half. Cardiff didn't have a shot on goal in the second half. Dominated it all, especially when Rodrigo came on, when Max Verber came on for his debut. Sonny Perkins came on as well, Mateo Joseph. And they all made an impact. Max Verber came on and played in DM. He actually played in midfield and he bossed that midfield. I thought it was really good. Could we see a midfield three of maybe Max Verber sitting a bit deeper, Mark Rocker on the left, Adams on the right? Potentially. I wouldn't mind that. But then you've still got the same old thing of having Pascal at left back. But I think it's something that Marsch will have a look at. Now, Rodrigo, for me, had a mixture of 45 minutes. Obviously, he came on and he scores our first goal. Decent header. Then we get the penalty. And when it was Firpo who nearly scored, obviously, for the kid to handball it for the penalty, I thought, I'm going to have to eat my words here if Firpo scores this. But obviously, he didn't. And the player was rightfully sent off and it was a penalty. And I thought, right, come on, Rodrigo. And he misses the penalty. And it is a bad penalty. I think it's the first penalty I've ever seen him miss for Leeds, though. And at that point, I thought, right, Cardiff have won this. They've just nicked it. They did enough in the first half. I was thinking, at least we showed up in second half. The scoreline isn't embarrassing, but all the cliches. And then obviously, Sonny Perkins' first professional goal, and in the FA Cup, in a moment like that, to send Leeds into a replay. A good flick on from Rodrigo, and Perkins obviously shows his instinct to stick a foot out and make it 2-2. Just onside as well. I think the fullback played him on. So yeah, look, all in all, and it's even bad of me to say this, but I'm happy that we at least took it to a replay, but I shouldn't even have to say that. Cardiff are 20th in the Championship, the lowest scorers in the Championship. They've not won a game since October. And they had a weakened team out because they had illness in their squad or something. And they still came out and did that to us in that first 45 minutes. The fans were olaying when they were passing the ball. One lad even did a fancy flick pass and the whole crowd were cheering and it was just awful to watch. Having to sit through it. And that 6,000 Leeds fans travelled down there today, and that first half performance was an absolute disaster. And it beggars belief because I don't understand what Marsch says to them to gear them up for a game and then to go out and play like that at half time. What speech is he giving? What's he saying? Which fair enough, it might obviously worked for us today. We managed to get us way back into the game and fight us way back. But in general, I want to know what we work on in training defensively, because that defence is not good enough. The defensive tactics are not good enough. And apparently, I was watching the preview that All Leeds TV did last night with Phil and Dad from the Lad to Leeds podcast. They were saying obviously that they'd listened to the Phil Hay show, and he said that Marsch had to win this game. And it got me thinking, so if we'd have lost today, would Marsch have lost his job? Would he be under pressure even more? I personally think he should be under pressure anyway. But you just don't know, do you? I just thought that was something to think about. And obviously, the news that's come out this morning as well from Fabrizio Romano on about Jorginho Rutter from Hoffenheim. That looks like it's going to be done within the next few days. 30 million euros, which is about 26 million quid. Now, Radrizzani in that interview sounded like a man that was not going to dip his hand into his pocket too much. I thought after Verber, then that was going to be it. And it makes me think now, like, where's this money coming from? Is it Rads? Is it the 49ers? Or is it a combination of both? Is it a Jesse Marsch signing? Apparently Marsch has identified him, but he does look like a good young striker. His goals this season for Hoffenheim so far are not great, but last season he had a really good season. He looks tall, he looks like he can bring the ball down and link others into play. It looks like he can play out wide if needed as well. I do think if we brought him in that it would be as a number 9. I've YouTubed him. A lot of his goals are poachers goals, but again I think some of the balls that Leeds managed to get into box this season, it just needs that clinical finisher at the end of it. Yes, Rodrigo has now scored 11 goals in total this season, but I think this kid does look good. I'm not saying that it'll turn out to be an amazing signing. Time will definitely tell on that. Then obviously I'd heard that we'd made a bid for Unahe, I believe, from Angers. Obviously the Moroccan player that had a really good World Cup. No concrete on that though at the minute. It is just rumours. But if that's true as well and we get both these over the line, then I'll be happy with this window. I'll be happy with the window even if we just get this Rutter in as well as Verba, because Verba looked good today, in my opinion anyway. It looked really good. But anyway, that's a topic for a different upload. I'll be back with some transfer content throughout the week. Obviously we've got Aston Villa on Friday, so obviously predicted 11 Wednesday, pre-match on Thursday. Then I will do a review after the game on Friday once the game finishes. But basically, guys, what I'm saying is that there's plenty of content. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 2K as soon as possible. It would really help me out. Please smash a like on this upload as well if you've enjoyed it, and share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. This has been your match review of Cardiff 2, Leeds 2. It's going to a replay at Ellen Road. We'll see how that goes. Obviously we'll have Boreham Wood or Accrington Stanley in the next round if we get through this. What a tie that'll be as well. So yeah, as I said guys, I'll see you in my next upload. See you in a bit. Thank you.